Welcome back to the homestead, everyone. We're going to show you today how to change out and repair the plumbing and put in the proper pieces for your well pressure tank. Stick with us. Okay, we're here today in our well house and we need to do some serious repairs for two reasons. One is because during our last freeze we had some serious damage in here. We've got, and I'll try to show you these on the camera here, we've got some serious damage right here. This whole thing exploded apart, cracked here. This little 3/4 inch line just blew apart right there and actually blew off the connection right there. And that was when we turned our well pressure tank back on from after the freeze. Now, I thought I had all this drained out and I was wrong. Unfortunately, this place is not insulated and the lines aren't insulated, and I didn't get around to that after we moved here. It will be done this time. As you can see though, this is not the proper way to hook up your well tank. Okay, so over here we've got the well, the line coming out of the well. Here we've got PVC line coming into the bottom of the pressure tank. Now, it works. Yes, can you do it this way? Yes, it works. But is it the best way to do it, the proper way to do it? No, it is not. So here we've got our pressure switch, we've got our pressure gauge, and we've got our pressure release valve. And this is a very convoluted way to do it. We've got a broken ball valve here coming straight up. I don't know what that was for. We've got another ball valve here as it goes into this 1-inch line into our other part of the property. And then this 3/4 inch line here goes to the barn and the garden on the south side of the property. So we got the right parts and pieces here. We're going to fix this. And also you can see that this has been repaired and repaired and repaired. Look at these little tiny pieces. You can see different color glues. You can see coupling there. This is a coupling here, a coupling here. This is 2 couplings here. It looks like 3, 4 here, just tiny little pieces all hooked up together. We got another coupling here. We got another one here, another one here. So it looks as though this has been frozen and destroyed numerous times, and it was just never insulated and never fixed properly. This is not the way to do it, all right? So if you're going to do something, I always say, do it right the first time, and then you won't have any issues. But this one, it was partially my fault for not getting out here in the last year and insulating it, because I knew it was probably going to be an issue. But we had the coldest winter here in Texas in, I don't know, probably 20 years, something like that, in East Texas. But this is just not the way to do it, okay? We're going to do this right. We're going to do it with this tank tee. Okay, we've got our tank tee here. This comes out of the bottom of the tank. Out of the bottom of the tank, we've got 1 1/4, so we need this reducer, 1 1/4 to 1 inch, and that goes on the end of our tank tee here. We've got our pressure gauge. We've got our pressure relief valve, and we've got our pressure switch here, which shuts off when the tank is pressurized properly. And we've got an extra spigot here. Now, we are going to design this, and you're going to need to think about this ahead of time, how these pieces fit together. So you want to dry fit everything and get it working together properly so that it all fits together right and works correctly. First thing you want to do is make sure your power is shut off to your well pump and your pressure switch. Now, we've got ours switched off here, but you always want to check with a multimeter to make sure that there is no power going through here. Then we're going to disconnect that pressure switch. Okay, our next step is to disconnect everything, and we want to make sure that there's no pressure left in the tank. Now this tank, it doesn't have a pressure release spigot anywhere. There's no place for us to drain the water out. I think we're okay though. Our pressure on our gauge is reading 0, and all the valves are open, so there doesn't seem to be any water in there. So we're going to take this apart. Now we're going to strategically place these threaded unions for our ease of taking things apart in case I need to take the tank, in case the tank goes bad. These unions are going to make it really easy just to disconnect and then reconnect things if I have to replace any of the parts and pieces in the future. So these are important. They're a little expensive, but no big deal. They're going to make your life a lot easier if you have to fix something in the future. Now what we're going to do is we're going to strategically cut these. As you can see, this is going to be really difficult to do because he hasn't left me much pipe here. And you need at least, like with this coupling here, this threaded coupling, you need at least an inch of pipe to glue that on. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, just tons of different parts and pieces here that need to get cleaned up so that we have a much easier time of getting things together. So let's get started on this. So if you take a look here, you want to make sure you glue these properly. And it honestly doesn't look like they were even glued at all. Some of these connections just popped off. Now that's to my advantage today because I don't have to cut this and I can easily fit another piece of pipe in here. But I just pulled this piece directly out here. I don't know how this stayed together over time. It seems like it was dry fitted and never glued. So you want to make sure you get every connection properly and make sure things are put together correctly. As always, when working on the homestead, you need to be prepared to roll with the punches. So as we were working through getting things taken apart, we discovered that this tank went bad. I think it froze inside and split the diaphragm bag because the diaphragm seems to have collapsed. There's water above it. And the only part in this tank should have water is inside the diaphragm. Only the air chamber is above that. So this tank is not repairable. We had to go out and purchase a new tank. Now this tank was very large for this application. It's an outdoor irrigation application. This was an 86-gallon tank. We don't need it that big, so we got a 52 here. And now we're going to show you how to hook this one up. Okay, as we showed you before, we have one of these well tank T's here. Our pressure gauge goes in one of these top ports, as does our pressure switch. On the bottom here, we've got our pressure release valve, and we've got our other spigot. So we've also got our 1 1/4 inch adapter here because all of these, to my knowledge, are 1 1/4. These nipples on the bottom of the tanks. So it's a 1 1/4 to 1 adapter here. What we're going to do is use some pipe dope here. We're going to put these on the threads and then seat them into the tank. Now, what you want to do first is have all of your attachments engaged here because as you can see, if you put this in, there's no room to put this on when it's already seated in that bottom. So make sure you've got your pressure switch on, your gauges on, everything on first. Once you get everything set up on there, screw it into the bottom portion here on the well tank. Don't forget to use the thread sealant or pipe dope, whatever you want to call it. All right, we've got all of our controls on here. Now we just need to get it in place. It needs to be level, and this portion of the tee needs to be level with the ground. So let's stand it up here and get it in a good position. Okay, now here on the wellhead, we've got a backflow preventer that's going to prevent any sediment from coming up and coming into the well tank. It's recommended that you have that, and I kind of fought it for a little while, but a friend convinced me that it's a really good idea. So you can see I've left this string of couplers here. There's really nothing I can do about it because it's really not easy to take this apart right now and get it apart. I do need a coupler, and I'm going to put that right here just so in the future if this needs any repair I can easily take that off. And then I'm going to bring that coupled piece over to our inlet here on the tank on this side. As with any project, it always takes you longer than you think it's going to take you. So we've got our tank in here, and let me show you. We've got the new tank in. There's the old tank. And we've got our lines dry fitted. So we're running out from our well head here, and we've got our union on the end of the tee. Now I decided to put the unions on the end of the tee, maybe to make it a little bit easier to get everything apart, but that's how we're going to do it. And we've got our pressure gauge, our pressure switch, our spigot, and our pressure release valve, our other union, and then this is our line out. We've got a shut-off ball valve here. This goes to our north side of the property, which is further. So we've got our 1-inch line here, and we've got our 3/4 inch line here coming out. We've got another union here to undo this piece, and I may actually go get another one and put it there so I can take this whole corner just kind of out of here. But we've got our ball valve here. We actually put this additional line up here just to have something else to attach to if we need it, but it's just capped at this time. So we've got everything dry fitted, and now we're going to use our glue and take care of everything, get it all permanently situated in there, and then we're going to hook up the electricity back up to our pressure switch, and we should be good to go. So that is how you put a new well tank in your well house. Now, all right, thanks for watching, everyone. Once again, like the video, we appreciate it. Comment down below if you have any questions. Also, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you here. We've got a lot of people coming in every month to the channel, and we're loving it. We thank you all for being here. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye.